Our courts are based on clear and convincing evidence. Want convictions? Want justice? For what happened in the 2020 election? Then we need your help. Not fixing 2020 will damn our nation forever. The decision you make in the next few moments could decide whether we ever get our elections fixed or not. Here's why. Trump campaign and allies file 64 different lawsuits. They all went down in flames. 100% of these cases were presented on "It's the machines," or "The machines changed the votes," or "The voting company executive said he would make sure Donald J. Trump would not win." They all went down in flames. Why? You can't bring theories to court as evidence. No supposed Zoom call or six-degree polynomial math theory or census data is or ever will be proof of fraud. You can't bring theories to court as evidence. Here's why. In both civil and criminal law, the side making a claim carries the burden of proof, and prosecutors must prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Without physical or otherwise verifiable evidence, a case cannot meet this high threshold. Physical evidence is the key. The question is, did anyone get relevant, reliable, provable, testable, and duplicatable evidence of what really happened in the 2020 general election? And the answer is yes, absolutely. The full forensic audit of Maricopa County, Arizona is the only evidence-gathering work which gathered relevant, reliable, provable, testable, and duplicatable evidence of what really happened in the 2020 general election. Evidence so damning that the system, the deep state, and those who pull the strings of this country have fought to keep it hidden and have hoped to have it be forgotten to time. Almost $3 million invested in time, funds, and efforts to unlock that which the system wanted hidden. But now, that evidence is in danger of being lost forever. So if you want what happened in the 2020 election fixed, then we need your help. Please donate to protect and secure this historic evidence. With the 2026 midterms coming up, the system is going to try to lame duck President Trump and then most likely introduce new impeachment proceedings. This is the evidence which will help win the war which is surely to come. We need to keep Maricopa County full forensic investigation and archive secure and ongoing. So if you want what happened in the 2020 election fixed, then we need your help. Please donate to protect and secure this historic evidence. We need your help securing the full forensic audit archives. Don't allow the only testable, objective, and reliable 2020 election evidence fall into obscurity. Millions were spent on getting it documented and tested. This is historic evidence. Not fixing 2020 will damn our nation forever. The historic Maricopa County full forensic audit effort processed 20,895,610 digital and forensic images of varying formats, resulted in 208 million individual evidence-proof files. The system processed over 58 billion forensic measurements, resulting in over 2 trillion individual base computations. No hopium, no hype, just hardcore forensic evidence. Please make sure the Maricopa County full forensic audit archives survive. Donate now. So if you want what happened in the 2020 election fixed, then please donate to protect and secure this historic evidence. We can't do it without you. We need you. America needs you. Our future needs you. Please donate now. Not fixing 2020 will damn our nation forever. Please donate now.
Hey folks, how's it going? Welcome to the program. Please do me a favor. Raise that finger and share this program right now. Raise it, share it. Give me the finger, would you please? I know some of you do anyway. Do it the right way. Share this program. We're going to take a look at this Iran issue. And, the president has the right to defend our country against terrorist forces. Of course, the left is going to tell you that the president has just decided unilaterally to go to war, which is crap. So we're going to analyze it. We're going to analyze it by going back in time. Many things you forgot about Iran, our past, because it is our past, the history, that's the greatest indicator of what's to come. By the way, today's program brought to you by the fine folks at Goldco. Would you please just consider going to jovanlovesgold.com? That's all I'm really asking of you. Go to jovanlovesgold.com. I want you to fill out the form. I want you to get your free gold and silver kit today. Very important. And the fact that this is going on, it may go on for weeks with Iran, is going to change the gold prospect quite a bit. You're going to see the market scrambling. But the main reason I want you to go to jovanlovesgold.com, which I do with my partners at Goldco, is because something's coming with the digital dollar. It's going to happen. And I'm worried about kind of a downsizing, a down check. And when I mean a down check, that means the government deciding, okay, here's what we're going to do, but you're only going to get 75% of the value because we have to downgrade. And by the way, don't think that doesn't happen. It can happen. It's happened to the tunes of billions of dollars done by our government. And you kind of have no choice when it's done. Please go to jovanlovesgold.com. Please, please, please. Request your free gold and silver kit today, because now is the time to protect your money. And you need to do it. By the way, it's also that time of year where if you're not protecting your food supply, and what I mean by is getting ready to grow your own, learning to grow your own, quit putting it off. I know you're thinking about it. I know you're planning to do it, but you never get around to doing it. Let me change the plan on you. PLAN, plan to plant a food forest. That's where you design a particular type of garden, particular type of layout. Doesn't really matter how much land you have. Anybody can do it. But when you plant it this way and then plant it using this ancient biblical methodology, it will continue to regenerate and feed you and grow. I know it sounds weird, but it's amazing. It's all about planning and planting. It's a little more sophisticated, but if you want to do it and you want to do it right, this is the way to do it. Don't be fooled by cheap imitations that took my cover and took the title and all that other stuff and did their own little cheap knockoffs of the book, which really have nothing to do with the topic at hand and as detailed as I go into. Make sure you get the one with my signature on it. Also did it with fruit, right? How to hack fruit, get it faster. And then for those of you that just don't really want to dig or don't want to weed, there are ways to do it. Anyway, share this program right now. We're going to be talking about Iran. We're going to be talking about how is this going to affect each and every one of us and in what fashion. But the way you need to understand it is not what the news is going to feed you, not with all the Democrat, oh, he went to war, not with that crap. You got to look at it the right way through the filter of history. That's what we'll do. You got 3 minutes. Let's get started.
Rennie Good was a gifted soul, a writer and a poet and a mother, wow. She tried to hit an agent with her car, oh no! Pop, motherfucker, now she's gone! Yeah, yeah, yeah! Being a fucking liberal is a mental disease. Blue-head unfuckables with the septum ring. You are not a hero, you're a fucking disease! You fuck around and find out it's what it is! Jeffrey Pretty was a Jewish homo. Started talking shit to protect a chomo. He was getting nicked
Warning, the following program has been rated Dilligaff and is intended for open-minded audiences. If the truth offends you, or if you are allergic to focused intensity, intellectual athleticism, or the occasional F-bomb or even irreverent humor, please switch off now. If your delicate sensibilities need to be worried about or addressed, might we recommend the Underwater Basket Weaving channel to you? Otherwise, sit back, enjoy the wisdom, insight, and wicked sense of humor.
Cut the crap. How many times a day do you want to say that to politicians, the elite, the loony liberals, the fake news media, and the gender-confused, emotional socialist snowflake crowd? Cut the crap is your secret weapon for fighting for our freedoms and our great republic. It all begins with a massive mental enema, freeing you from the toxic news and politically correct views, which constipate your consciousness with stinking thinking. Your host, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer. He's known for calling out politicians and telling them to cut the crap. You've seen him on virtually every television network and listened to him on Coast to Coast Radio. And now he's here to help you learn to fight for America. Culture, race, and American politics. They all have one thing in common. They all need to cut the crap. Now, here's your host, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer.
Okay, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the new Iran. Actually, it's the renew Iran. It is versus then versus now. And we're going to go back historically. We're going to kind of go back into the timelines. We're going to go back into the news reports. We're going to reflect and we're going to comment. You're watching something play out that was exceptionally critical. You're also watching something play out that's a big, 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 big signal to the system. You know that our shores have been invaded by radical Muslims right here in the United States. You're probably not paying attention. Well, I know you're not paying attention, but let's choose a great American red, white, and blue red state city, Dallas, Texas. And while you weren't paying attention to all this crapola going on, 330 mosques. Yes, 330 brand new mosques in Dallas, Texas. The other part of it, you need to recognize that if you go back and you study Islam and you study their prophet Muhammad, you know, you kind of do this shorthand thinking a mosque is a church and a place of worship. It's not. A mosque is basically, in Muhammad's time and throughout all time, a place to plan and conduct war and train Islamic warriors. You probably didn't know that because the system's not going to teach you that about the religion of peace. And that's why if you were actually to look at Dallas-Fort Worth and you look at any of the big mega churches, you will find on average in a circle, you think that's a coincidence? In a circle, they have circled all of the very large churches with mosque. This is what happens when people don't pay attention. This is what happens, etc., when what's going on. There are 330 mosques in the Dallas, Texas metroplex. I want you to think about that. You'd expect that maybe what? Flint, Michigan? Detroit? That's Dallas, Texas, folks. So with that, I think you need to understand all the monumental events going on. Now, as I replay this historic footage for you, I'm going to replay historic footage. You're going to hear some very interesting things. Actually, if you've paid attention, you're going to see the formula that was used to overthrow Iran way back when and turn it into what it is today. You're going to see the exact same formula. students, protests, riots, a few killings, and then say the system's against you. You're going to see the formula play out. That's why we're going to go back to 1979. Period. We are being pushed and orchestrated in a playbook to civil war, to a breakdown of our system. And it's in the breakdown of these systems that other things pop up that ultimately can be worse. And that's why this is so critical. Okay. Number one, let's just look at the three pros first. Pros, good things that can come from this. One from the United States of America standpoint, one from the global standpoint. The first thing, if in fact there is a quality regime change in Iran, what's going to happen is it's going to lower the direct military risk to the United States and our partners. That's the first thing that's going to happen. It's going to de-escalate things. Now, I think these guys under their attack, they reached out and they're attacking other Middle Eastern areas. I think they did it to try to get all those people upset at the U.S., but it backfired on them, right? So it might not be playing out in their favor. The next thing that we benefit from is this is a reduced in getting this situation under control and getting Iran stabilized. It's going to reduce the energy, what's called energy economic shock issues. Shock exposure is what it's caused. See, when there's disruption there, and there's always war there and always issues, it affects us in the United States because we're affected by oil. And don't forget, we don't even set our own oil prices. That's set by the oil producing nations, OPEC, a lot of them hating the United States. They just get to decide what we pay. And our government pushed us away from being energy independent to being at the whims of these people. You can see how all of this connects. So by getting Iran stabilized, it is going to help us as a nation to be able to further stabilize things that hit our economy, chaos. It threatens our shipping and supply chains, everything that has to do with how they control us by oil. And I'll give you an example. The Bushes and Obama was in on this way back when in 99. Diesel was about $1.20 a gallon, $1.25 a gallon. Diesel. It is the easiest fuel to make, the cheapest to produce, because it doesn't have all the refining. But what did they do starting Bush and Obama to further hurt America? They raised the diesel prices, trying to lop it into the same group. And here we are, what, $3.50, almost $4 for the same exact product it was then, didn't cost any more factories or anything else. All of that is bullshitism in between, period. It's all a con to make our prices be higher and drive everything else. But you're going to watch some stuff happen with the Strait of Hormuz at the moment of where the oil is coming from some of these areas. It might affect us. It's also going to literally reduce our chance for, and it'll be more durable, by the way, of what's called nuclear de-escalation. We got a better chance of not having any nukes go off. We got a better chance of having a stable de-escalation if, in fact, we take Iran out of the process, which, according to the Obama administration, didn't have anything, really didn't do anything, didn't know how to do it, really didn't even have yellow cake, but yet we find out they got this monstrous facility up under a mountain, and they do have nukes. And that was part of the lying that the Obama administration did. And now you can kind of maybe see the Obama Muslim Brotherhood, cross connection Iran. You can see how we've been played under a game for a long time. Now, what will also happen globally is we're going to, if we can get Iran stabilized, we're going to have a lot less in the Middle East proxy warfare. There'll be a lot more regional stability. Remember, Iran is the big funder of terrorism to the tunes of billions and billions and billions. They finance across the border attacks. They finance militias. they finance terrorists, and you kind of got this cycle. Think of them as constant warriors. And so we're going to get less proxy wars there. These guys fighting each other. If we can get Iran under control, there's going to be safer trade, safer aviation, and safer infrastructure. If we can get those corridors open, which affects oil, which affects natural gas, which affects all this other stuff, we're going to have a lot more predictability in the Gulf. And if we can get more predictability in the Gulf, we're going to have an opportunity where Donald Trump, with the Abraham Accords, which were phenomenal, and he should have gotten a Nobel Prize for, there's going to be more space for diplomacy and normalization. What stopped it all with President Trump's hard work and all of that was Iran would not go for it. And Iran basically said, if you get stable, we're going to do more. So that's been the agitator. So as we go back in time, let's take a look at history, right? History. Let's start with just a little recap of when their revolution started. I was just about to head into high school when this broke out.
In today's Iran, conservative and reformist forces are battling for supremacy. Attempts by reformist President Hassan Rouhani to liberalize Iran's political system and relax its strict Islamic code are met with stiff resistance. In Iran, a theocratic dictatorship, the president's power is limited by a supreme leader, an Ayatollah. The origin of Iran's current Islamic government and its antagonistic relationship with the West can be traced to the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Here's the short history. It's the 1970s. Iran's economy faltering, its self-proclaimed king, Mohammad Reza Shah, grows increasingly unpopular. Among Iran's intellectual class, he's seen as beholden to the US and Israel. A secular Muslim, his social reforms, including giving women the right to vote, put him at odds with Iran's religious leaders. They helped spread the writings and speeches of Ayatollah Khomeini, who the Shah had pushed into exile in the 1960s. From abroad, Ayatollah Khomeini fuels street protests, calling for the overthrow of the Shah. The Shah's supporters mount violent counter-protests. Iran is on the brink of civil war. Then, in early 1979, the Shah leaves Iran in what was officially described as a vacation, opening the way for the Ayatollah to return from exile to popular acclaim. 10 days later, the Shah's appointed prime minister goes into hiding, and Khomeini and his hardline Islamic supporters seize power. The Ayatollah declares Iran an Islamic republic and himself as a supreme leader. As anti-Western sentiment builds, many of the country's Western-educated elite flee the country. Later that year, a group of Iranian protesters demand extradition of the Shah back to Iran so he can face trial and execution. At this time, he was in the U.S. for cancer treatment. These protesters stormed the U.S. Embassy, taking 66 people hostage. A failed hostage rescue attempt results in the deaths of 8 U.S. service members. The hostages are finally released 444 days later, just minutes after a new American president, Ronald Reagan, takes the oath of office, succeeding Jimmy Carter. Since then, the hardliners have ruled with an iron hand, creating today's ongoing conflict between reformers, who would relax their country's strict Islamic social code and want better relations with the West, and the country's entrenched conservative establishment, who find those ideas at odds with their revolutionary ideals. That's the short history of the Iranian Revolution.
Okay. At this point, until you see the bigger picture, you may say, we should have stayed out of it then. We never should have gotten in it, et cetera, et cetera. I want to pull this back. Now, that was 2 minutes, 24 seconds long. I'm going to replay you the same 2 minutes and 24 seconds. Except, I want you to put on your current lenses to understand how this worked, to understand how it even happened to begin with. It was a revolution to throw over a very prosperous government. I'm going to go back and show you what Iran was then. To overthrow a very prosperous government. Now, the way they did it was they started with protest. They got college students to believe that the current government was bad, not taking care of the people. They got the college students to protest. Then they got the college students to instigate fights. Then those fights, because they got violent, caused the government to retaliate, which ultimately ended up getting people killed. It always does. Then it caused a total explosion. Then it was not allowed to cool down. Then the Shah left, and then they called Jimmy Carter a Nazi, and they portrayed him on banners as Hitler. Oh, and by the way, what drove it the most was saying, ready? America is a puppet to Israel. Because you're dealing with America, you are a puppet to Israel. It's really Israel. Now, even when I tell you this, that should sound very familiar to you. It's because that's the playbook, and it's been used many times. Thinking of those things, watch for the imagery.
In today's Iran, conservative and reformist forces are battling for supremacy. Attempts by reformist President Hassan Rouhani to liberalize Iran's political system and relax its strict Islamic code are met with stiff resistance. In Iran, a theocratic dictatorship, the president's power is limited by a supreme leader, an ayatollah. The origin of Iran's current Islamic government and its antagonistic relationship with the West can be traced to the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Here's the short history. It's the 1970s. Iran's economy faltering, its self-proclaimed king, Mohammad Reza Shah, grows increasingly unpopular. Among Iran's intellectual class, he's seen as beholden to the US and Israel. A secular Muslim, his social reforms, including giving women the right to vote, put him at odds with Iran's religious leaders. They helped spread the writings and speeches of Ayatollah Khomeini, who the Shah had pushed into exile in the 1960s. From abroad, Ayatollah Khomeini fuels street protests, calling for the overthrow of the Shah. The Shah's supporters mount violent counter-protests. Iran is on the brink of civil war. Then, in early 1979, the Shah leaves Iran in what was officially described as a vacation, opening the way for the Ayatollah to return from exile to popular acclaim. 10 days later, the Shah's appointed prime minister goes into hiding, and Khomeini and his hardline Islamic supporters seize power. The Ayatollah declares Iran an Islamic republic and himself as supreme leader. As anti-Western sentiment builds, many of the country's Western-educated elite flee the country. Later that year, a group of Iranian protesters demand extradition of the Shah back to Iran so he can face trial and execution. At this time, he was in the U.S. for cancer treatment. These protesters stormed the U.S. Embassy, taking 66 people hostage. A failed hostage rescue attempt results in the deaths of 8 U.S. service members. The hostages are finally released 444 days later, just minutes after a new American president, Ronald Reagan, takes the oath of office, succeeding Jimmy Carter. Since then, the hardliners have ruled with an iron hand, creating today's ongoing conflict between reformers, who would relax their country's strict Islamic social code and want better relations with the West, and the country's entrenched conservative establishment, who find those ideas at odds with their revolutionary ideals. That's the short history of the Iranian Revolution.
Many things should be very familiar to you, like No Kings protest, like, oh, they're Nazis. Jimmy Carter's a Nazi, which he looks stupid with that little mustache. Come on. It's the Americans controlled by the Jews. The Jews are really doing it. Get to the students. What opened the door? Democrats, weakness. What allowed it to crumble? Democrats' weakness. What finally got that door shut? A Republican coming in, shutting it down. I play this for you because I want you to understand this is an operational playbook. That playbook is being played out today. What is happening right now with Iran and President Trump is monumental. This is the war between good and evil. This is exactly why during the Obama and Biden years, they flooded our world with radical Muslims. It's all an operational plan, except the kink in the plan is us and President Trump. I've told you this is war. I've always told you it was war. But if you don't understand it through the historical perspective, you don't get it. Look, let's go back to Iran when, they had all the Kinkos and printing places and all that stuff and all that. Oh, that's right. They never had those. Then how the hell did they get all those coordinated signs and signage and banners? Oops. Because it is all part of a plan. Let's pop back real quick to the 70s, little dose of what the 70s was then.
Iran, a country brimming with energy, exploding with construction and development, a dynamic state with a thriving capital.
Wait, aren't we supposed to see burqas? Most people don't even know this. The heart of university civilization is Iran. Most people don't even know that. If you go way back in time, we got the university system. We got alchemy, metallurgy, astronomy, trigonometry, all this other stuff, advanced math, all come from that seat. Oh, and by the way, while the Taliban was in, and you go back to a lot of the super ancient old history of Iran, they obliterated it. Remember, way back when Cyrus liberated the Jews. Isn't it an interesting turn in history that now the Jews are liberating his ancient country? It's all repeating itself, folks. It's all been an evil war.
Iran, a country brimming with energy, exploding with construction and development, a dynamic state with a thriving capital. Iran today, women even playing soccer, symbol of a radical revolution against deep-rooted...
I'm hoping you're seeing the irony in this. Women could vote. Women weren't covered up. Everybody's going to school. It's real school, not fake numbers. They had society, had women's sports team, not women's with dong and women's sports, but women's sports teams. That's what couldn't be allowed. Freeing people.
Iran, a country brimming with energy, exploding with construction and development, a dynamic state with a thriving capital. Iran today, women even playing soccer, symbol of a radical revolution against deep-rooted taboos, habits, prejudices. Iran, a unique endeavor. When so many monarchies perished and Mohammad Reza Shah had ascended to the throne, Iran still adheres to her constitutionalist traditions. With the oldest constitution in all Asia, she still remains a monarchy. Symbol of the new role of women in Muslim Iran is the active participation of Farah, the Shah Banu, in representing the dynasty, the state. She's in charge of whole sectors of national life, particularly in the fields of social activities, art, and culture. The number of children in primary schools has risen from 1.7 million to 4.1 million. In high schools, from 326,000 to almost 2 million. Of 152,000 students in higher education, about one-third are women. In 1975, at Tehran University, 44% of all graduates in medicine were women. 47% in pharmacology as well as in social sciences, and 55% in education. Oil, the basis of Iran's wealth. The oil boom offering new opportunities, new challenges for the country's development. Steel mills built by the Russians, partly in exchange for delivery of natural gas to the Soviet Union. Iranian assembly and manufacturing plants already produce the greater part of all motor vehicles now needed in the country. From the southern regions burnt by the scorching sun, the Trans-Iranian Railway provides one of the few connections to the Caspian littoral in the north, where rainfall reaches 60 inches per year. Yet, as everywhere in Iran, most of the country's 60,000 villages are isolated from the outside world, the greater part of them strewn over Iran's high plateau and mountains. Since students from the regular universities could not stand the hardships of nomadic life, tribesmen were trained at special faculties. They are wandering with the tribes, teaching 70,000 children a year in Iran's mobile schools, the schools of the white tents. The hearts of the Persians are still in the ruins of Persepolis, the ancient capital built in 520 BC by Darius, 230 years later burned by Alexander of Macedonia. In 1971, Iran celebrates her 2,500th birthday as a nation, as a state, and as a monarchy, the oldest monarchy in the world with the youngest dynasty. But looking back to the empire of Cyrus, of Darius, of Xerxes, throughout the centuries, on the ruins of old towns, new ones were erected. And again, on the remnants of these, layer on layer, in this country so often invaded. During these thousands of years, the Iranians were often conquered, yet never colonized. So they remained a proud people, conscious of their history and of their heritage. This ancient land's armed forces today are continually equipped with the latest weapons. Iran's military strength has aroused suspicion even in the West. It should be remembered, however, that Iran again and again in her history has been unable to resist so many foreign invasions because of her military weakness. The Shah, here with Egypt's Sadat, has learned his lesson.
Okay, all of that ancient history that you saw, you know, you see it as the real curly-haired beards, the crowns, the sphinxes with wings, all that super old stuff. This current regime with the Taliban and stuff, all of those cities, everything, they destroyed them. They chipped them down. In fact, they even went in the museums and destroyed them, creating a society where nothing anciently exists before Muhammad. Erasing history, obliterating thousands of years of history in the name of Allah. Now, I'm going to show you a little bit of a short news revolt piece here on the revolts so you understand what happened. And then I'm going to go into longer pieces. I'm kind of setting the tables here for you. What I'm asking you to do is to look at this. You have to understand what happened. The world was thriving. That was the last time we were thriving, getting ready for, you know, in the Reagan era, etc. Things were getting stabilized. Democrats had done about just much as damage they could do. But I also want you to see the playbook's the same. Getting the young kids involved, getting the schools involved, converting them out, saying what the kids should learn or shouldn't learn, not standard education, political education, getting college students to protest, to fight each other. It's all the same.
The president and the Shah met for about an hour this morning. The president said the Shah's visit was encouraging and had strengthened the strong ties of friendship between the two countries.
Despite the temporary imposition of martial law, the Shah's new government appears determined to press ahead with liberal reform. It is from the mosques that opposition to the Shah is being led by puritanical Shiite Muslims. The religious zealots want to return to the Constitution of 1906, which would ensure all legislation conforms with Islamic law.
Almost 40,000 refinery workers went on strike today, virtually cutting off Iran's petroleum exports.
University students demonstrating in Tehran, shouting death to the Shah, pledge allegiance to the Islamic movement of the Ayatollahs.
University students, death to the Shah, our country's bad, death to the ruler.
The president and the Shah met for about an hour this morning. The president said the Shah's visit was encouraging and had strengthened the strong ties of friendship between the two countries.
Despite the temporary imposition of martial law, the Shah's new government appears determined to press ahead with liberal reform. It is from the mosques that opposition to the Shah is being led by puritanical Shiite Muslims. The religious zealots want to return to the Constitution of 1906, which would ensure all legislation conforms with Islamic law.
Almost 40,000 refinery workers went on strike today, virtually cutting off Iran's petroleum exports.
University students demonstrating in Tehran shouting death to the Shah pledge allegiance to the Islamic movement of the Ayatollahs.
The number killed in Tehran since the beginning of the month is probably well over 100. But people in this crowd were saying and believing 7,000 had been killed. Emotions over the dead and the rumors of dead are high. Every day here now the demonstrations and arrests go on. Rumors in Tehran say people are being armed and may soon start firing back at the troops.
News there would be some kind of announcement about a new government came after yet another day of running confrontations in the center of Tehran. The army kept moving today, trying to head off the demonstrations, keep them where possible from growing in size. This dogged military resistance to the anti-Shah disturbances, part of an effort to buy the Shah as much time as possible in which to create a political solution. Demonstrations like these today in Tehran are a daily occurrence in towns throughout the country now, and one sign of the fact there is nothing less than a kind of revolution being attempted here, trying to change the form of Iran's government, and unlikely to settle easily for any solution which still keeps the Shah on his throne.
Daily, it has become more difficult to look at the scope of opposition to the Shah of Iran and still see his monarchy surviving. The Ayatollahs are committed to the ouster of the Shah and nothing less than that. They chant, Magba Shah, death to the Shah.
The new prime minister has gone some liberal political distance beyond the Shah, but not likely far enough to suit the anti-Shah religious establishment or members of the political opposition.
The Shah and his empress left shortly before midday. The empire he had hoped to build had been shattered by a year of violence.
The news spread with the speed of the human shout. Shah Farari Shodeh, the people cried. The Shah has escaped. The old chant of death to the Shah was replaced today by a new one, death to Carter. There is still a strong sentiment against American interests in Iran and the widespread belief that the United States has taken the profits from Iranian oil. Khomeini, Khomeini, they cried, we're waiting for you. The Ayatollah is expected to return to Iran, but when or how is not yet known.
Again, this should feel very familiar to you. It is all the same playbook. Yes, I could cover, here's where we dropped our bombs, here's how many Khomeini's people killed, their positions. You don't need that shit. And the news is only, well, President Trump should have gone through Congress, should have done this. That's all bullshit to keep you distracted. What you're watching truly is a liberation of a people that have been suppressed for 56 years. Is that right? Is it 56 years? Wait, 80, that's 20, 40, 46 years, sorry. That's what's really going on. And that's what the world people trying to control it don't want. They don't want stability and thriving. They don't want those countries thriving and creating their own economies and having freedom. They want the people destitute and dirty and not having anything so they can ship them to other countries to have them wreak havoc and not know any rules. This is why we have to go back in time and watch this. Now, I'm going to show you some longer video segments. I'm asking you to look at what's going on. Look at the imagery. You'll see all the signs being this. It's all the same tactics. Even back then, they got the university students in the name of the government is oppressive and horrible. We got to kill them and they're Nazis, to block off no-go zones, to barricade the streets. This has all been a con, folks. This is also why they don't teach history, because you will quickly see the playbook and the con. This is why they have to distract you with so many things. They raise up a group of people that won't let women go to school, even though history's been revisioned on that, et cetera, et cetera. They won't do all this stuff. But yet here, oh, we're going to save you. We're going to this. We're women. It's all crap. I'll give you an example. I've talked about this before. But if you look at in Islam, when all of this happened, you find simple things that a man going to the hospital can only have a male doctor. Makes sense. A woman going to the hospital can only have a woman doctor. That might make sense too, until you find out that women aren't allowed to be doctors. All these idiosyncrasies. It's all about chaos. It's all about control. It's all about, you always got to have people looking at chaos. Oh, free the boll weevils, butterflies, please. Oh my God, if that butterfly dies, it's going to kill the caterpillar. It's going to kill the worm, then the fish, then the whale, then the lesbian, then the guy with a wiener who thinks he's a chick. We're all going to die. Let's watch this. We're going to kind of go through this history a little bit. I'm going to give it to you in a deeper dose. I'm going to show you the revolution chaos. First, I'm going to show you about from 1900s to 1979. Then I'm going to show you the before and after that dives into some things. And then I'm going to show you what the revolution itself looked like.
Iran, a country brimming with energy, exploding with construction and development, a dynamic state with a thriving capital. Iran, a unique endeavor. In an age when so many monarchies perished and Mohammad Reza Shah had ascended to the throne, Iran still adheres to her constitutionalist traditions. With the oldest constitution in all Asia, she still remains a monarchy. Symbol of the new role of women in Muslim Iran is the active participation of Farah, the Shah Banu, in representing the dynasty, the state. She's in charge of whole sectors of national life, particularly in the fields of social activities, art, and culture. The hearts of the Persians are still in the ruins of Persepolis, the ancient capital built in 520 BC by Darius, 230 years later burned by Alexander of Macedonia. In 1971, Iran celebrates her 2,500th birthday as a nation, as a state, and as a monarchy, the oldest monarchy in the world with the youngest dynasty. But looking back to the empire of Cyrus, of Darius, of Xerxes, Throughout the vast empire, a whole network of roads and communications was established. Throughout the centuries, on the ruins of old towns, new ones were erected. And again, on the remnants of these, layer on layer, in this country so often invaded. During these thousands of years, the Iranians were often conquered, yet never colonized. So they remained a proud people, conscious of their history and of their heritage. From the southern regions burnt by the scorching sun, the Trans-Iranian Railway provides one of the few connections to the Caspian littoral in the north, where rainfall reaches 60 inches per year. Yet, as everywhere in Iran, most of the country's 60,000 villages are isolated from the outside world. Oil, the basis of Iran's wealth. The oil boom offering new opportunities, new challenges for the country's development. Steel mills built by the Russians, partly in exchange for delivery of natural gas to the Soviet Union. Iranian assembly and manufacturing plants already produce the greater part of all motor vehicles now needed in the country. This ancient land's armed forces today are continually equipped with the latest weapons. Iran's military strength has aroused suspicion even in the West. It should be remembered, however, that Iran again and again in her history has been unable to resist so many foreign invasions because of her military weakness. The Shah, here with Egypt's Sadat, has learned his lesson. Britain's main interest? Oil. As early as 1901, the Englishman William Knox D'Arcy had been granted a 60-year oil concession. The 26th of May, 1908, marked the beginning of the oil industry in the Middle East. February 21st, 1921, was the day of Reza Khan's coup d'etat with his Cossacks. He marched to Tehran and overthrew a weak and tottering government. Eventually, firm control over the whole country was established. All Russian concessions in Iran were abolished, concessions for Britain granted by the old government cancelled, with the exception of the old oil concession. In 1925, the last Shah of the Qajar dynasty was deposed by the Majlis, Iran's parliament. Reza Khan, then prime minister, is elected Shah. The official coronation takes place on the so-called Peacock throne. Out of Reza Shah's family, his eldest son, Mohammad Reza, is appointed crown prince. The years of the government of Reza Shah, later to be named Reza Shah the Great, are the years in which the